Okay, welcome back to Shaman King, Anime Review episode number 10. This is the 10th episode of the 2021 anime, Flame Knight. And here's something, though, when I was looking at the chapters, basically they were done for this episode. This is a very limited, it's a very small amount, yes. Because looking at the chapters were adapted throughout most of the series so far, usually they've adapted about 7 to 8 chapters per episode. It's been like this since episode 3, where they adapted that much in just a short period of time. I mean, they haven't adapted this amount since like episode freaking 2. And so far, 9 has the highest amount of chapters adapted, freaking 11. This episode adapted only 4 chapters. Okay, interesting. Chapter starts off with the gathering of all the shaman participating in the upcoming tournament, which they say is going to take place in 1 month. Where it takes place, it's not stated here, though in the original anime it was held in the United States, basically in the Southwest. Here's an interesting thing about this particular scene. We see cameos in the scene from Faust, who, yeah, he's in the scene in the manga, so kudos for the anime, including that. We also see Genie of the Iron Maiden and her ex-seeds, or her ex-organization. Yeah, we see them here, which is interesting because they're actually not in the original scene. My only guess is the reason why they added them here, because that is completely an original thing here. Because they're getting featured in the actual fight itself, so why not include them here? Yep. And this is a line will be normal. And then we cut to Yo at school. Now, they do trim this down a bit from the manga, where it's like Yo is basically looking out the window, spacing out, and then it's like Yo standing up and read. There's a little bit extra here they cut out here where Yo fell asleep, and then we cut to the roof where him and Anna are just chatting for a bit. And then we cut to that evening where Yo was there with Tamako, Menta, also there with Haruto, his sister, his beautiful sister, mind you, Rauten, his horse, and Bison. Yep. All of them are here, and Ren Tao, he is here, basically. He actually leaves the very next night. And actually this thing where he's actually there for like one night. And like, oh yeah. And then of course, while they have a little scuffle, like a little friendly fight, like, Tamako basically does a little card thing, which she does normally because she's very shy. Mentioned, oh yeah, the hot spring is ready. These guys get their own hot spring and the girls get their own. Tamako's spirits are perverts. So, look at the guys basically are basically just, well, because it's Tamako spirits. So, Anna proceeds to beat the crap out of them for daring to attempt to steal the girl's clothing. Yep. And of course, like the very next night, Ren Tao decides to go home. Yep, decides to go home. Yeah. They do change the dialogue a bit here. Mostly, yeah, he goes home. Also, and then here's something interesting though. And then the very next day, they cut this bit of the anime too, where you have Yo and Tamako, where they're going shopping. And they basically are very shocked at the total they had to spend on these mushrooms. Now, in the anime, they don't show this particular scene. I mean, it's just a couple pages. It didn't really affect the thing at all. They do mention, like, oh yeah, we know it's going to be like, expensive. Excuse me. My guess is they probably didn't need it because, well, they probably wanted to pay. They probably thought this is the studio who did this one, because I don't think this is done by the original studio who did the original series. They probably saw that and like, yeah, this is unnecessary to include here. Just a brief mention. We don't need to show this particular scene. Just leave it to the viewer's imagination, which is fine. And they show a little bit early of the Buddhist monk singers. Yes. Characters who never appeared in the original anime. Not that I remember, no. Yeah, these two never appeared in the original anime. Probably because the original anime didn't bother to put these guys in. They threw in original characters, yes, but these two, no, they didn't. And they try to send Tamako's spirit to heaven. And they try to send Yo's spirit because they think it's an evil spirit. And it look like Yo's on the ropes, look like he's about to win. And all of a sudden, now we hear that they see the spirits get destroyed by somebody outside a third party. Who is it? Ryu! Yes, Wood Sword Ryu. It's been a couple episodes since we last saw him. And then he proceeds to beat the crap out of them. He destroys the guys. He destroys their car, which has the speakers on it. And after basically getting spooked by them, and he just runs. Of course, he mentions though that he was actually that the reason why he's so powerful is because he's a shaman, because he can see spirits, and he was trained by Yo's grandfather. Which, okay, that's more in line with the manga, because in the original anime, it wasn't Yo's grandfather who trained to be a shaman. It was Anna. Yep, she basically became his teacher. My guess is the reason why that the anime went with the manga version, because it would not make sense from a logical perspective to have a girl who is basically 10 years younger than him teach him how to be a shaman. Having Yo's grandfather do it probably makes a lot more sense. Even though, yes, she's probably been trained since she was a child, but they probably think from a logical perspective it's more having somebody who has more experience with shaman powers than her. So basically, he stays for a bit, and of course, Haru is still there too. And of course, they celebrate. Then we cut to Tao, and of course, they explain it's gonna take him like, about 2 days to get back to his home. And of course, on a train, he's there like in a bad mood. And of course, takes an old lady's like sweet hot bun, warm as milk, goes outside, and says, "Okay, we need to basically end the fighting of the Tao family by defeating his father." And then he arrives at his family home, and he's confronted by a bunch of zombies. And yes, it's had manga too. And he has to go through these particular corpse zombies. And that's where the episode ends. It's a great cliffhanger, and I appreciate what they did with it. I gotta say, what they adapted from just a few chapters, they did a really good job here. Mostly they may have altered a bit of dialogue, and they cut like some minor bits here and there. I'd say the only thing they cut was the classroom scene. They basically almost cut that completely out. Excuse me. My guess is the reason why, because it was not necessary. And kind of same thing with the shopping scene. The thing was completely necessary to basically include in. Don't really show it. We can clearly see basically these two went shopping. Don't need to see the actual scene where they actually go to the store and actually try to pay that much to be worried about it. They do also, I think they changed Yo's clothing here, because I think he wears completely different clothing he does in the manga. Yeah, I think in the anime he wears like a white t-shirt. In the manga, he wears a black t-shirt. Yeah, it's a minor artistic change, but it's probably due to the fact it's drawn black and white, and they probably want different colors, whatever. But definitely a good episode. And surprisingly, Menta himself does not play a role this episode, which can't fault the anime for that. They basically went with how presented in the manga, where he basically does nothing throughout this episode. Yeah, he doesn't affect the plot at all. Like he did that pretty much in the first 9 episodes of the series. This one, he doesn't. Nope, he doesn't. Oh yeah, and also Ryu mentioned that he actually watched the fight between Tao, Ren, and Yo. I agree, it was an awesome battle. Though it took up a lot of chapters of manga, freaking 11 chapters. Yep. Oh yeah, and also Ren mentions he's actually in the Shaman King tournament by basically beating 2 shaman, and he got an oracle belt. His is actually purple. Yes, that's interesting though, the fact he's actually joining. I don't remember he was actually part of the original tournament in the original anime. Not that I can think of, no. I kind of felt as though also Turaguro, his spirit that he got possessed by, yeah, that's his actual spirit he got currently. Now, if I remember from the original anime, I don't think he actually participated in the tournament. He basically spent a lot of the time trying to find a bride. Like, he tried proposing to several different women. Like, proposing to Ren's sister, Tamako, definitely not Anna because he knew that she was engaged. Basically, he did it with several because apparently he wanted to find his own bride. They pretty much, in a way, just didn't do anything much than once he became a shaman. It's like, oh, he has to find a wife now. Something he did not do in the manga. He probably participated in like the extra, so it's been a bit since I actually read it. So, I'm not sure what's going on with this. Anyways, yes, it's a good episode, and can't wait for next week. Okay, so that's it for Cycle Review. Stay tuned for tomorrow for at least 2 videos. Definitely come tomorrow. Basically, my last video for now, anyways. Unless, of course, they release more episodes for it. For Our Last Crusade, The Rise of a New World, Case Closed, and maybe Comic Corner. Okay, same video. Bye.